Hey guys, so I am driving to school and I wanted to talk about something that kind of happened to us last night. So last night I was talking to the girls about some of the behaviors that I posted in the video. For you guys, it'll be the video you saw yesterday, specifically about like the lying and that kind of thing, just to see like what kind of response they felt from, you know, if they lied or whatever, what would happen. And we talked about like they're safe and nothing, you know, really horrible is going to happen to them if they tell us the truth. In fact, it's, you know, like they're not going to be punished for telling the truth. And there was some questions from our younger one about clarification for what something meant. And it brought up some stuff that happened when they were with their mom. And my older child didn't say anything at the time, but then later on we were sitting at the table and she was mad at me because I was making her do her homework, which is pretty standard. But she was saying stuff that she doesn't normally say. Like she was saying like, I don't want to be here. She's saying that I'm the worst mom ever. I'm so mean. She's telling me like, she's saying all these really mean things to me. And I just kind of like, at the time, I was just like letting it go. I was just like, okay, yep, that's fine. You're still going to do your homework. Because I just don't really react when she says that kind of stuff. Because generally they're just, you know, trying to get some kind of response out of you. And then so I had some homework to do and I went to bed, and this morning I woke up and it was, apparently I had been working through this in my sleep. I do that sometimes. I don't know if y'all like wake up sometimes in the morning and you've like come to an epiphany. Well, that's happened the last couple of days, but today I woke up and was like, she was saying all that stuff because John was like, why is she saying all this? She never says this. And that's why she was saying all this stuff, because she was upset thinking that I said something bad about her mom. And so I had to clarify to her, like, people parent the way that they were parented. So they do what they know how to do. That's generally how people parent. And so I often tell them, you know, if you have foster kids and they're having trouble or they're struggling with understanding like why their parents just can't seem to make things happen, the way that I explain it is everybody has something that they struggle with. Everybody has something. I have anxiety. That's what I struggle with. And I explain to them that sometimes their parents have things that they're struggling with that it's so much that it's just so hard to overcome. And it's not that their parents don't love them, it's just there are things in their lives that are difficult and they don't necessarily have all of the skills that they need to be able to overcome those things. And if your foster children have struggles like ours do, you can kind of relate it to that. You can explain to them, like, you know, how you have all of these things and you're a kid, so there are people there to like help you, you know, with these things. And it just kind of, it gives them something to like relate it to. As the child gets older, you're going to be able to have those more difficult conversations about whatever it is that is causing them to not be with their parents. But you never want to talk to the children in a way that you're telling them that it is their parents, that their parents are, it's a really hard line to walk. That's why I'm having a hard time explaining it. But you don't want to say anything really negative about their parents. You want to give them the option and validate their feelings if they feel negatively towards their parents. But you never want to come out and say like something about like if they have a domestic violence problem or if they have an addiction problem or whatever. You don't want to come out and say well, if they could just get over this, then you would be able to go home. Because that sounds like you are placing blame on their parents, and that makes you the bad guy. It's kind of like in a dating relationship when you have a friend who's dating somebody and you know that person they're dating is not good for them. Generally, most of the time, little advice for those of you who are younger, you saying something to that person about how negative, how wrong this person that they're dating is not going to get you anywhere. If anything, it's going to cause a fight between you and the other person. So you have to just like in that situation, you have to let your kids come to whatever realization they're going to come to about their parents and their parents' situation. And it can be difficult. I would just encourage you, and I've talked about this before on my channel, specifically with dealing with biological parents. You just need to understand that they didn't have someone, most of the time this is a cycle, and they did not have someone intervene in their lives when this was happening to them as they were children. So they are just doing what they know. That's all they can. Sometimes that's not the case, but a lot of times that's the case, is they just didn't, legitimately, were not parented appropriately and given the right coping skills to handle certain situations in life. A lot of times too, there are mental health concerns which cause them not to be able to parent. So, and you can't explain that to an 8-year-old. You know, you don't have, that's just not the appropriate time. But as they age, and once they're ready, you can have that discussion. So I just want to say, you have to be cognizant of what you're talking about. Even if it's like innocent and you're not saying anything like directly negative, if you talk about the actions of the biological parents previous to these children coming to live with you, you have to make sure that you're careful about explaining what was said or what you mean. So I just wanted to share that little piece of information with you guys, because that's the first time that's happened before. Usually we don't talk about the girls' previous experiences unless they bring it up. But last night I needed to clarify something, and in doing that it caused some weird feelings for our eldest daughter. So yeah, and when they say these things to you, and I know like biological parents deal with this too, when they tell you like, you know, you're the worst mom ever, I hate you, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Last night, my exact words to my daughter were, sweetheart, if you were never mad at me, I would not be parenting the right way. So as long as you can like maintain your calm and just be like, okay, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Let's do this. Because literally 20 minutes later, she was back to normal. She was fine. So yeah, just let it go. That would be my advice for you. This obviously was not in a heated discussion. Like she was angry with me, but it wasn't about something I didn't anticipate, and she wasn't being ridiculous. If we were in a heated situation, I don't know that I would have been able to respond that well, but last night was kind of the ideal situation for having her say those things to me, because I was prepared for it, I guess, if that makes sense. So yeah, hopefully I will be able to be that mindful when I'm not prepared for it, because I know it's coming. But yeah, let me know how you guys deal with your kids when they tell you that they hate you or when they're mad at you. And if you're a foster mom out there, let me know if this kind of thing has happened to you before, and if you have any words of advice about it. I know a lot of people that foster, that do YouTube, foster younger children. Ours aren't like older, but ours are older than 3. So yeah. So let me know what you guys have experienced. Bye guys.